Every time you hold a coin in your hand, you're actually holding a tiny piece of history. This is especially true in Italy. Italian coins, are like little metal time machines. They can take you on a journey back through centuries of art, power, and change. Just imagine an ancient Roman soldier buying bread with a silver denarius, or maybe a Venetian merchant counting his gold ducats after a long voyage. These small objects connect us directly to the people who lived long ago. They aren't just for collectors in dusty rooms. They are for all of us. They tell the grand story of Italy, one small clinking chapter at a time. It's a story of empires rising and falling, of artistic genius, and of a people forging a single identity. When we travel, we often focus on the big things, the Colosseum, the canals of Venice, the art of Florence. But sometimes the most amazing stories are hidden in the smallest details. A coin is more than just money. It's a declaration of independence, a piece of propaganda, or even a miniature work of art. The images stamped on these coins tell us who was in charge, what gods they worshipped, and what they valued. In Italy, where history is layered on every street corner, the coins in the ground and in museums provide a tangible link to the past. Following the evolution of these coins is like taking a walking tour through Italian history itself, from the ancient Greeks to the modern European Union. Think about it. The very idea of money is a cornerstone of civilization. It allows for trade, the building of cities, and the funding of armies. In Italy, this story is particularly rich and complex. The peninsula was a crossroads of cultures, and its coins reflect that beautiful chaos. You can see the influence of the Greeks, the ambition of the Romans, the faith of the medieval period, and the artistic flair of the Renaissance, all stamped in metal. Each coin is a survivor, a durable artifact that has outlasted buildings, governments, and entire civilizations. It's a story waiting to be told, and all you have to do is look closely at the change in your pocket or a display in a museum. So, let's embark on this journey together. We'll travel back in time using these fascinating metal discs as our guide. We will start before Rome was even an empire, when Greek colonists and mysterious Etruscans were minting the very first coins on Italian soil. We'll watch as Rome grows from a small republic into a mighty empire that spreads its currency across the known world. We will see how, after Rome's fall, coinage became a symbol of local pride for powerful city-states. Finally, we'll arrive in modern times, with the lira that united a nation and the euro that connects Italy to its European neighbors. It's a story of identity, told through the money people used every single day. Our story begins long before the Roman legions marched across Europe. The first coins used in Italy weren't Roman at all. Around the 6th century BC, Greek settlers established vibrant colonies in southern Italy, a region they called Magna Graecia, or Great Greece. Cities like Sybaris, Croton, and Tarentum began to mint their own beautiful silver coins. These weren't crude lumps of metal, they were works of art. The Greeks used a special technique where the design on the front was raised, while the same design on the back was incised, or sunken in. This unique style is a hallmark of early Italian coinage and shows a high level of craftsmanship and artistic pride. At the same time, in the heart of central Italy, another mysterious and advanced civilization was flourishing, the Etruscans. The Etruscans were skilled metalworkers and traders, and they too understood the importance of a standardized currency. While they initially used unmarked lumps of bronze called AAS rude for trade, they eventually began to produce their own coins. These coins often featured distinctive symbols, like a wheel or a gorgon's head, giving us small clues into their complex culture and religious beliefs. The Etruscan coins, though less common than their Greek counterparts, show that the idea of money was taking hold across the Italian peninsula long before Rome became the dominant power. Meanwhile, the early Romans were just beginning their journey. Their first form of money was also primitive, based on the barter of cattle, picus, which actually gives us the word pecuniary, and later heavy, unmarked bronze bars. Around the 3rd century BC, as Rome's influence grew, they began to produce their first true coins, massive cast bronze pieces known as aes grave or heavy bronze. These coins were so large and heavy, you couldn't carry them in a pouch. You'd need a cart. They were often marked with images reflecting Roman values, such as the two-faced god Janus, looking to the past and future, or the prow of a warship, celebrating their growing naval power. This early period was a melting pot of monetary ideas. You had sophisticated Greek silver coins circulating in the south, unique Etruscan pieces in the center, and the hefty Roman bronze in and around Rome. This variety tells us that Italy was not yet a single unified entity. It was a patchwork of different cultures and powers, each expressing its identity and economic strength through its own distinct coinage. These first coins set the stage for the monetary revolution that was to come. As one of these groups, the Romans, would soon expand to create a currency system that would dominate the Western world for centuries. As Rome expanded from a city-state into a republic controlling the entire Italian peninsula, its currency had to evolve. The heavy bronze coins were simply too impractical for a growing economy and a vast army that needed to be paid. The solution arrived around 211 BC during the dark days of the Second Punic War against Hannibal. This is when Rome introduced a revolutionary new silver coin, the denarius. The denarius was small, lightweight, and contained a reliable amount of silver. It was worth 10 of the bronze as coins, which is where it gets its name. Denarius means containing 10. This coin would become the backbone of the Roman economy for the next 400 years. The early denarii of the Roman Republic were fairly uniform. The front or obverse typically showed the helmeted head of Roma, the personification of the city of Rome. This image projected a sense of collective identity and republican strength. The reverse side often depicted the Dioscuri, the mythical twins Castor and Pollux, on horseback, symbolizing Rome's military prowess and divine favor. Unlike later coins, these early denarii didn't feature living rulers. Instead, they were issued by junior magistrates called monetals, who would often put their own family names or symbols on the coins, linking their lineage to Rome's great history and achievements. As the Republic grew, so did the complexity and variety of its coinage. The denarius spread with the Roman legions and merchants from Spain to Syria. It became the first truly international currency in the region, a trusted standard of value that facilitated trade and helped unify the expanding Roman territories. The designs on the coins also began to change. Ambitious generals and politicians like Sulla and Pompey the Great started using the coins to promote their own accomplishments. They would place images on the reverse that celebrated their military victories or public works projects, turning these small pieces of silver into powerful tools for personal branding and political campaigning. The ultimate step in this trend came with Julius Caesar. In 44 BC, he did something unprecedented and shocking to Roman tradition. He placed his own portrait on the denarius. This was a radical break from the past. Putting the image of a living man on a coin was seen as a move toward monarchy, an affront to the Republic's values. It was a clear statement of his absolute power. This act was seen by his opponents as one of the final straws, contributing to the conspiracy that led to his assassination. But the precedent was set. The coin had officially transformed from a symbol of the state into a billboard for the individual ruler. With the fall of the Republic and the rise of the Roman Empire under Augustus, the coin became one of the most important tools for the emperor. Augustus, a master of propaganda, understood this perfectly. He established a new, reformed currency system with the gold aureus, the silver denarius, and various bronze and copper denominations. More importantly, he made sure his own portrait was on the obverse of nearly every coin. This was a way to spread his image and authority to every corner of the vast empire. From a soldier on the frigid frontier in Britain to a merchant in the bustling markets of Egypt, everyone who used Roman money would see the face of their emperor daily. The reverse side of the coins became a canvas for imperial messaging. Emperors used it to announce military victories, celebrate the founding of new buildings, or promote virtues like peace, pax, prosperity, felicitas, or abundance, abundantia. When a new heir was born, coins would be issued with portraits of the empress and the royal children, emphasizing the stability and continuation of the dynasty. If an emperor wanted to show he was pious, he would feature gods like Jupiter or Mars. These coins were the internet and television of the ancient world, a mass medium for communicating the emperor's agenda, legitimacy, and power directly to the people. The value and quality of the coinage also tell a story of the empire's fortunes. During the prosperous era of the Pax Romana in the 1st and 2nd centuries AD, coins were generally of high quality and pure metal content. However, as the empire faced economic crises, civil wars, and barbarian invasions from the 3rd century onward, the silver content of the denarius and its successor, the Antoninianus, was drastically reduced. Emperors would debase the currency, mixing the silver with cheaper metals like copper to stretch their resources. The public quickly lost faith in the money, leading to rampant inflation. You can literally track the decline of the Roman Empire by analyzing the metal in its coins. Different emperors also left their unique mark on the currency. Some, like Nero, produced coins of exceptional artistic quality. Others, during periods of chaos like the crisis of the 3rd century, issued crudely made coins from provincial mints as generals hastily declared themselves emperor and needed to pay their troops. The portraits themselves are fascinating. You can see the stern military look of emperors like Trajan, the philosophical bearded face of Marcus Aurelius, or the brutal features of Caracalla. These coin portraits are often our most realistic depictions of these famous historical figures, giving us a personal human connection to the rulers of the ancient world. Section 5. The Middle Ages, a fragmented currency. So after the Western Roman Empire crumbled in the 5th century, Italy's unified currency system shattered along with it. The early Middle Ages, often called the Dark Ages, were, a time of turmoil and decentralization, and the coinage of the period really reflects this chaos. The new Germanic rulers like the Ostrogoths and the Lombards tried to imitate Roman coins, but their versions were often much cruder. They kept the general design, sometimes even with the portrait of the Byzantine or Eastern Roman emperor, but the craftsmanship was just a shadow of its former self. The portraits became stylized and abstract, and the inscriptions were often blundered and misspelled. These coins, well, they tell a story of a society struggling to maintain the sophisticated systems of the Roman world. Gold coins became increasingly rare, and small, debased silver coins became the primary medium of exchange. For centuries, the dream of a unified currency was lost. Instead, a confusing mix of local coins circulated alongside Byzantine solidi and Arab dinars, brought to Italy through trade. Charlemagne's attempt to reform European currency in the late 8th century brought a brief period of standardization with his silver denier. But after his empire broke apart, Italy's coinage once again fragmented into a patchwork of local issues. Power was no longer centralized in a single emperor, but was divided among local dukes, bishops, and feudal lords. Many of these local rulers began to mint their own coins as a symbol of their autonomy. These coins were often thin, small, and poorly struck, but they were a powerful declaration of local independence. Instead of an emperor's portrait, they might feature the name of the ruler, a local patron saint, or a simple cross. The quality was low, but their message was clear. Power was now local. This period laid the groundwork for the rise of Italy's famous city-states. This monetary fragmentation had a huge impact on daily life. Long-distance trade became difficult, as a merchant might have to deal with dozens of different currencies, each with its own fluctuating value. Money changers became essential figures in every market town, expertly weighing and evaluating coins from different duchies and kingdoms. The lack of a stable, high-value currency also hindered large-scale economic projects. But this era of monetary chaos was a necessary transition. It was the breakdown of the old imperial system that would eventually allow for the rise of new, dynamic economic powers that would once again put Italy at the center of the world stage. As Europe emerged from the Middle Ages, a new power was rising in Italy, the independent city-state. Cities like Venice, Florence, and Genoa grew rich from trade, banking, and manufacturing. To facilitate their booming international commerce, they needed a stable, reliable, and high-value currency. This need sparked a new golden age of Italian coinage. In 1252, the city of Florence issued a revolutionary new coin, the florin. It was one of Europe's first major gold coins in centuries, struck with a purity that was guaranteed by the city's powerful guilds. The florin was an instant success, becoming a trusted currency across Europe. The design of the florin was iconic and instantly recognizable. On one side, it featured a lily flower, from which Florence gets its name. On the other side was the image of the city's patron, St. John the Baptist. There was no king or emperor on this coin. The florin was a proud declaration of Florence's republican identity and its economic might. It was the currency of the Medici bankers and the artists of the early Renaissance. Its stability and beauty made it the dollar of the Middle Ages, and it was widely imitated by other rulers across the continent, who often kept the famous design but changed the inscription. Not to be outdone, Italy's other great maritime republic, Venice, introduced its own gold coin around 1284, the ducat. Like the florin, the Venetian ducat was of extremely high purity and became a dominant coin in Mediterranean trade for over 500 years. Its design was also deeply symbolic. One side showed Saint Mark, the patron saint of Venice, presenting a banner to the kneeling doge, the elected ruler of the city. This image brilliantly conveyed both piety and state authority. The other side depicted Christ, reinforcing the city's role as a defender of Christendom. The ducat's unchanging design and purity made it a symbol of Venetian stability and commercial integrity. The success of the florin and the ducat inspired other Italian city-states, from Genoa to Naples, to issue their own distinctive coins. This era marked a major turning point. For the first time since the Roman Empire, Italian cities were producing coins that were not just locally important, but were respected and accepted across the known world. These coins were more than just money, they were a brand. They represented the wealth, power and reliability of the city that issued them. They funded the Crusades, financed the voyages of discovery, and paid for the magnificent art and architecture that we still marvel at today. As the wealth of the city-states funded the cultural explosion of the Renaissance, coinage underwent a dramatic artistic transformation. The flat, stylized figures of the medieval period gave way to a new era of realism, portraiture, and classical inspiration. Rulers of states like Milan, Ferrara, and Mantua were not just powerful leaders. They were also patrons of the arts who saw their coins as a way to immortalize their legacy. They hired the best artists and sculptors of the day, men like Pisanello and Benvenuto Cellini, to create coins that were not just currency, but miniature works of art. These coins were meant to be admired as much as they were to be spent. One of the most significant developments was the return of realistic portraiture, inspired by ancient Roman coins. The Sforza family in Milan, the Gonzaga in Mantua, and the Este in Ferrara all issued spectacular coins featuring their own profiles, rendered with incredible detail and personality. These were not just generic symbols of power. They were lifelike portraits that conveyed the ruler's character, ambition, and humanist ideals. The reverse sides were often filled with complex allegorical scenes, personal emblems, and classical motifs, turning each coin into a small, portable monument to the prince who issued it. It was a perfect fusion of power, art, and propaganda. The technology of minting also improved dramatically during the Renaissance. While the old method of striking each coin by hand with a hammer was still common, new techniques like the screw press were introduced, allowing for sharper details and a more uniform circular shape. This technological leap enabled artists to create even more intricate and beautiful designs. The coins of this period, especially the large silver testones and gold ducats, are often considered among the most beautiful ever minted. They are a testament to the Renaissance ideal of combining beauty with function and art with everyday life. These coins were a powerful expression of cultural identity. They showed a deep reverence for the classical past of Greece and Rome, while at the same time celebrating the individual genius and worldly success of the new Renaissance man. For a ruler like Federico da Montefeltro of Urbino, a coin featuring his strong, distinctive profile on one side and his magnificent ducal palace on the other was a perfect summary of his legacy as both a fierce warrior and a sophisticated patron of culture. These pocket-sized masterpieces tell the story of an age that placed immense value on fame, artistry, and the enduring power of a well-crafted image. After hundreds of years of being split up and ruled by other countries like Spain, Austria, and France, Italy finally became one united country in the 1800s. When Italy became politically united, which they called the Risorgimento, they needed one single money system for everyone. So, in 1861, the Kingdom of Italy was announced, and in 1862, the Italian lira became the official money for the whole country. This was a really big deal, a huge symbolic moment. The lira took the place of all the different types of money from the old states like the Papal Scudo, the Neapolitan Piastra, and the Tuscan Fiorino. It created one money system for the first time since the Roman Empire. The first lira coins of the Kingdom of Italy proudly showed the face of the new king, Vittorio Emanuele II. People called him the father of the fatherland. Having his picture on the money helped make his power stronger and helped people feel like they were part of one nation. Before, they mostly thought of themselves as Venetians, Tuscans, or Sicilians, not Italians. On the back of the coins, you'd see the family crest of the royal house of Savoy, surrounded by a laurel wreath. That's an old symbol for winning and honor. Every time someone used a lira, they were taking part in this new idea of being Italian. After World War II, Italy got rid of the king and became a republic in 1946. This big change in how the country was run was quickly shown on their coins. The king's picture was gone. Instead, there were new symbols that showed what the new democratic republic believed in. The most famous of these was the 500 lira coin. It was one of the first coins in the world made with two different metals, and it became a symbol of Italy's amazing economic growth after the war. The new coin designs showed figures representing Italy, like a beautiful woman, along with symbols for hard work, like Gear's wealth, like a horn of plenty and peace, like an olive branch. These showed what the country hoped for as it rebuilt itself. Over many years, the lira coins became a normal part of everyday life for every Italian. People really liked the designs, from the small aluminum 1 and 2 lira coins with their scales and bees, to the stainless steel 100 lira coin showing Minerva and a dolphin. These coins told the story of modern Italy, its struggles with rising prices, which made the coins have big numbers but not much buying power, its amazing art history, and its ideas about democracy. The lira was the money of the sweet life, of Fiat cars and Vespa scooters. It was a constant, real symbol of Italian unity for almost 150 years until a new chapter began. On January 1, 2002, Italy, along with 11 other European nations, embarked on a historic new monetary adventure, the adoption of the euro. The beloved lira, a symbol of Italian identity for a century and a half, was retired. This was a momentous change, linking Italy's economic destiny directly with that of its European neighbors. While the euro banknotes are the same across all participating countries, the coins have a common European side and a unique national side. This offered Italy a fantastic opportunity to choose which symbols would represent its culture and history to the rest of Europe and the world. Italy's choice of designs for its 8 euro coins is a wonderful summary of its artistic and cultural heritage. Each coin is a nod to a different masterpiece. The 2 euro coin features a portrait of the great poet Dante Alighieri, taken from a fresco by Raphael. The 1 euro coin showcases Leonardo da Vinci's iconic Vitruvian Man, a perfect symbol of Renaissance genius and the link between art and science. This famous drawing, representing ideal human proportions, now circulates in the pockets of millions of Europeans, a testament to Italy's profound impact on Western civilization. It's like having a miniature museum in your hand. The smaller denomination coins continue this artistic tour. The 50-cent piece displays the equestrian statue of Emperor Marcus Aurelius from Rome's Capitoline Hill, a powerful link to Italy's ancient Roman past. The 20-cent coin features a sculpture by Umberto Boccioni, a leader of the Futurist movement, representing Italy's contribution to modern art. The 10-cent coin celebrates one of Italy's greatest artistic triumphs, Sandro Botticelli's The Birth of Venus. Even the humble copper-colored coins have great stories. The 5-cent coin shows the Colosseum, the 2-cent coin depicts Turin's Mole Antonelliana, and the 1-cent coin features the Castel del Monte in Puglia. By choosing these specific images, Italy made a powerful statement. Instead of political figures, it chose to celebrate its universal contributions to art, architecture, and literature. From ancient Rome to the Renaissance to the modern era, the Italian euro coins are a curated exhibition of the nation's creative spirit. They serve as daily reminders for both Italians and visitors of the incredible depth of Italy's history. Holding an Italian euro is holding a piece of that legacy. In the end, every coin, whether it's an ancient denarius, a golden florin, or a modern euro, is a piece of history you can hold in your hand, connecting you to the grand ongoing story of Italy.